Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Now you want my testimony?
Oh no, I'm gonna have you do that again.
Okay.
Retake.
Okay, ready?
Because I don't think you're that natural. Okay. Surrender to God for Him to transform your heart and your mind to become one with Him, and so that you are ready for your future spouse. And I've been with BTO for about 6 months. Becoming the One has been about a 7-year journey for me. And I felt earlier this year that the Lord was prompting me that I was ready to go to that next level and to become the one with a community, and that I was ready for my future husband. And that in order to be fully ready for him, that it was time to join a group like Becoming the One.
Becoming the One is really about you having a better understanding of your relationship with God, of your place in God's heart. And I think that after that, you begin to see your life sort of like grow in so many different ways. And for a lot of us, we have become married, or we're getting married, or we're just reaching a healthier point in our lives and our relationship with God. And I think that the core focus of this, once you learn that, finding your spouse, significant other, is the icing on the cake. You know, it's not the main thing, but it's that that sweet thing on top. You know, and I love that, because at the end of the day, I couldn't love my spouse or be the wife I want to be without having that deep relationship with God, without having something to pull from. And and that is not even including the ways I've learned to communicate and to be a vulnerable listener, and things that I think just really invaluable tools. Um, that to me have been very important, and that I really take with me in all the relationships I have. I try to. At least I'm at a point where if I'm about to get into a discussion or something, with my husband, it's like, okay, Brittany, you know how to successfully have this conversation. And it's like, do I choose to go that way? But now it's like, I feel like, it's like I know there's a better way to communicate, a better way to express myself, and I'm very grateful for that. And I encourage everyone to take part. So, yeah.
Becoming the One has taught me so much about marriage and what it means to make a commitment and a covenant with my spouse. But not only that, but what it means to have an identity as a chosen son of God. There's like two main components that I've learned from Becoming the One. One is that I have so many misconceptions about marriage and what it means to make a commitment. And the second one, I've learned so much from mentors and peers alongside me as we go through the material. We just learn about the biblical basis of what marriage can be and what we can do to learn about our future spouse and to pray for them daily. And lastly, I've learned so much about my personal identity. And Becoming the One is not only just about learning about your future spouse and how to talk well and how to communicate effectively with her when the time comes, but also to learn who I am and whose I am.
I'm 17. I think becoming the one at my age is like trying to like be already like whole and like complete, like on your own. And I don't mean on your own, I mean like obviously with God, but not necessarily like searching for someone to complete you, but more someone whose like traits like complement you and make you a better person and help you grow. Well, with my friends, I've seen a lot of them like kind of look for like fulfillment, or like to find someone who can like fill that void in them. So they're looking for a relationship to like maybe like help them with their self-confidence. So I don't think they're necessarily going into it for the right reasons. Like I think they need to be like happy on their own, and instead of like looking for someone to be like their other half or someone that, because then it'll be even harder when, so a lot of like these relationships in high school like don't last, so it'll be a lot harder for them once they're over, and they'll constantly like be looking for someone to fill that void. So that's a good question. I think, well, for me personally, I'd say like definitely listening to what my parents have to tell me, because they're very wise and they've been through a lot together, and so definitely taking their wisdom and trying to like apply it and live it out, because a lot of people have to endure a lot of hardship because of the choices that they make, like around dating. And so definitely, like, if there are things that I could do to avoid that, definitely do that. And definitely, like, pray for a future spouse or, like, partner and stuff like that. I'd probably, like, ask them, like, in a nice way, not in a, like, super, like, serious, like, mom kind of way. Like, what are you expecting, like, getting into this? Like, what do you want to get from it? Like, do you think like you're compatible with them, or is this just like a temporary thing? And so definitely like not in like a judgmental way, just kind of like trying to help them, like, know what they're getting into, as opposed to just like going in blind and just like hoping for the best. So yeah. I would say, like, to be honest, I think in high school, like, a lot of the guys aren't mature enough to be in relationships, and girls, like, keep trying to convince themselves that, like, that they are, and that it'll, like, be okay to be, like, treated in a way that they shouldn't be. And so I definitely say, like, that you are good enough to wait for a guy who will treat you right. So I definitely say, like, there is someone out there for you who God made for just you, and that's why it'll work out perfectly, and that you shouldn't waste your time like looking for someone that isn't there like right now. So yeah.
You know, when we get together with a group of ladies and pray for each other, and so before that, you know, Salome had told me about this group, and so I just felt I had to be here, you know, for the gatherings, and so 3 visits into it, that's when I met my husband, and all along I was praying for him. We were all praying for him and just preparing myself, you know, spiritually, and for when he came into my life, and so it's a really special moment. And I had told Mark about what I was doing, and he was ecstatic. He would see me after the meetings, and you know, I was just super excited and just pumped up and just ready to dive into this relationship, because I just knew he was the one. I just knew he was the one. And so, you know, my recommendation to everyone is just to wait and, you know, get plugged in and have, you know, a group of friends to pray for you, and to intercede for you, and to pray for your future husband, because that's exactly what we did. And before you know it, you know, he's there. So this is great. How about yourself?
They're the same. I think it's really important is to prepare ourselves. I didn't know when it was going to happen or who it was going to be, but just to know that it will happen, and to start getting ready for it. And when it's the right time, the Lord's going to bring you two together, and it's going to be very easy.